Here's today's recipe. You're welcome to stop the video and take a picture if you'd like. Welcome to Baking with Marian. Now I'm going to first make the blender salsa, and then after that I'm going to do the nachos because the salsa will go on top of the nachos along with a lot of other things. So let's get started. First of all, I have my hands washed, my counter clean, I've got my knife. If you are allowed to use a knife, then that's okay. If you're not allowed to use the knife, you need to let somebody else help you, okay? I have a couple of cutting boards ready to go as well. The next thing that I have to do is prepare my vegetables. Now I've washed those, but here's what I have to do to prepare them. With the tomatoes, I have a couple of old tomatoes. Of course, that one. Okay, so I have a couple of spots on them. And sorry about that. And then I'll be taking those spots off. Plus, on all of them, I'll be taking off the tops, okay? So that's going to be my first thing. Taking off the tops, taking off the bad spots. So that's what I'm going to do with my tomatoes. Now, with my bell peppers, I'm going to pull that off. I'm going to take the seeds out of them. I go around the little crevices that they have with my knife, cutting almost all the way around, but not quite, just straight down, I guess, is what I'm doing here. Then I'm able to crack it open and get the seeds out. So that's what I'm going to do with my other bell pepper. And you can use any color bell pepper you want. I just wanted red and orange for this. With my onion, I have to prepare it by getting the wrapping off of it, the skin around it off. So I personally do that by taking that off, and it looks like we've got some bad parts, so I have to make sure to get rid of those as well. So I take that off. Now the bad part, I'm just going to chop right off. Not a problem. Little bit left, and I'll just get that right quick. There. Now my onion is ready to go. You know what else I'm going to do with that onion? I'm going to quarter it before I put it into the food processor. That's what I'm going to do. I'll probably quarter all of these before I put them into the food processor. I have my jalapeno pepper. Now, if you want seeds in there, if you want the seeds, then it's going to make it hotter. Your food will be, your blender salsa will be more spicy. So if you want it less spicy, you're going to need to take out those seeds. Now I'm going to be daring today, and I'm going to leave those seeds in my blender salsa. Oh, I'm scared. Then with the cloves, I have to take off that thin paper that's around each of the cloves of the garlic cloves. Sorry, it's 1 clove of garlic or something like that. 2 cloves of garlic, right? But my cloves were really small. But I'll be chopping that off, getting the paper out of it. So I'm using more cloves than just the 2 that it says, and I got to get the paper off of it. It seems to be really wrapped on there tight this time. I happen to have old garlic, so it's not exactly bright and fresh. Okay, that one is a no-go, or at least that part of it. I need to chop off that one part that's not good. Yeah, that's good. All right, let me try another one so that you can see. See the paper? That's got to come off. And sometimes it comes off so easy like this. And sometimes I have to cut both ends and then take the paper off, and that's easy too. So I'm going to take off the end of my cloves of garlic, and then that will be ready to go into my blender salsa. I see that I still have paper left on this one. Anyway, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to pause the video, and so you do that with yours. Just get them ready to go into the blender. I have my stuff chopped. Oh, not chopped. I have it so that it fits inside my food processor. That's why I'm cutting it, not because I need to necessarily. It's just to be able to put it into the food processor. I'm letting the food processor do the cutting work. That's why I'm doing it this way, not just dicing, right? Okay, now the last thing I have to do is my cilantro, and I'm not really going to do a lot with that, except I'm going to take off most of these stems. So I got that cut. Now that is ready for my food processor as well. Now let's do the whole food processor bit. And here is how it's going to work. Okay, I'm scooting stuff over so I can bring my food processor out. And I need to clean that spot right quick so I don't get too messy. So I have my food processor and a bowl. I'm going to do these ingredients one at a time because I don't want to chop them up super fine. I want them coarse chopped, so it's just going to be like real quick with the food processor, just a quick pulse. So I'm going to throw my tomatoes in here. There's those. I almost missed one. Watch out. The red tomatoes blend in with color with the red bell pepper. And I can't believe I forgot my paper towels. It's a good thing I'm wearing a apron. I can just go like that if I have to and wash that because it is laundry day. Okay, so here I go. Just a quick blend. I can't do it for too long or it's going to get it too blended. Okay, I'm seeing a couple of pieces of the tomatoes that aren't blended up super well, but that's okay because later on we're going to put all the ingredients in just a minute. Actually, we're going to put all the ingredients back together. Those ones that were so big, this one's kind of big and this one is kind of big. I'm going to put them back in. So I got the rest of them in here. As you can see, tomatoes like to get more mush than quick chop, but that's okay. Not for what we're doing. This is going to be great. What do I think? Is that good enough? Okay, there we go. It needed a little more extra effort, and now it is ready to go in there. I still see a big old piece, but that's okay. It's not that big, but it is. Boy, I need that rag. Where'd my wash rag go? Okay, so there we go with the tomatoes. Now I'm going to throw in the bell peppers. Now this time I'm going to try it with just half the bell peppers at a time so I get that coarse chop without getting it too chopped. So, there we go. That's what I want. Kind of chopped, but nothing super small yet. Oh, okay. Some of it's super small right now, so that's fine. Now I'm going to throw in the other half of my bell pepper, or rather the red bell pepper. I had the orange bell pepper, now I'm using the red bell pepper. Okay, gonna chop that by using the food processor. I think that's good. I'm sure I've got a piece that's kind of big. That's okay. Pour it out into my bowl. It's all going into the same place because soon I'm going to have everything back in here to blend it up. Now this time I'm going to do both the onions and the garlic at the same time. Just so that you know, I also have the kind of garlic that you get in that's already minced, and you just keep it in your fridge. It's in a jar. I use that. So if you're using that, that is a-okay. I usually use that. I just happen to have garlic. So, I mean, you know, the fresh kind of a thing, even though my fresh garlic is old. I don't know how that works. Okay, chopping. Okay, I think that's all I need for that onion. Oh man, this is going to be good. Out you come, out you come. I'm going to use a spatula. Okay, so I get the rest of this out. There we go, get it in there. I still have a couple more things to throw in here. There we go. Get the blades back in. That doesn't work if I don't have the blades in. Alrighty, it's jalapeno time. Gonna throw my jalapenos in there. Gonna chop those puppies up. And they're so small, they don't want to really chop up, do they? Well, I don't know. Maybe your food processor did better. Whoa, I opened that up and the spiciness is coming at me. Woo! Between onion and jalapeno. This is going to be good. But before that, it's going to make me cough a lot. Alrighty, that jalapeno is not chopping up. Do I worry about it? No, because I'm going to throw it into the whole thing. My big bowl of stuff here, which I didn't need to do because now it's time to throw everything back into the blender. Alright, so try not to make a mess. If you might make a mess doing this, then go ahead and put on an apron or your oldest shirt that you don't care if it gets tomato sauce on. Boy, it's the tomatoes that are causing the most mess. Oops, and an onion and the tomatoes. All right, now everything is back in. See how much that takes of that, how much room that takes. I'm going to put the bowl in the sink. I'm going to wipe down all of this tomato juice that just spilled on my counter. There we go. And I don't need my cutting board anyway. I mean right now, nor do I need that cutting board. It's me and the blender. The spices are next. I'm keeping this though. Ooh, made a mess. But you know what? That's why we have wash rags. We will clean everything up in a minute. Now it wants me to put in the recipe, wants me to put in my honey, and I'm supposed to do a teaspoon of honey. So I will do that. And of course my honey is not super running. That is okay. Whoa, 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 whoa. Whew, watch out. The honey was trying to escape. Okay. So I need a teaspoon of honey, half a teaspoon of salt. Honey, you need to get out. You need to talk to your food. Go ahead and do that. Now my finger is a mess. So what am I going to do? Well, whoa, I'm going to throw those down is what I'm going to do. And come over to the sink, wash off the honey. Now I'm good to go. Hands are now semi-dry. Okay, now I need half a teaspoon of salt. There we go. And it wants a quarter teaspoon of cumin. Where's my quarter teaspoon? I think that's it. Oh, that's it. Yeah, that's it. Now I have my spices right here. Love it. I use my 1/4 teaspoon. And I'm not really doing an exact measurement. As you can see, I get it approximately right. I'm not worried about how much or how little. Well, I'm worried about how little spices get in there. I can do a little more, a little less if I know that I like it. For instance, I know that I like cumin. Now I have other things that I want to put in there that the recipe didn't say to put in there, but I'm going to do it. Well, it does say it's optional or as desired. Red pepper flakes. I'm not going to use a lot of those because I know that makes my salsa spicy. I'm going to use a little bit of chili powder. Yeah, I smell them to see if I think that it'll go good in my salsa. Oh no, I just put in too much. That's the way it goes. If I was worried about it, I guess I would have been using one of the measuring spoon. I'm going to put in a little bit of paprika because I think that will go good in here as well. Now I'm also putting in the cilantro, but it says just small to medium size. So I happen to like cilantro, but I'm still going to just put in, I don't know if that's considered small or medium, but that's what I'm going to use. And I hope that my blender processes this exactly right, because if it doesn't, I'm going to have great salsa mush. But I guess that's okay too. It's just going on top of the of my super nachos. Lime. Where is my lime? Of course, I need to rinse it off. And I was wrong about not needing my cutting board again. I have it like that. Now, if you happen to have a container of lime juice in your fridge, you can use that. But it wants the juice of 1 lime. So I do the half, and then I squeeze, and I squeeze, and I squeeze. Whoa, it's getting all over me. I love it. I love the smell too. This is going to make it fantastic. And I squeeze, and as I squeeze, I turn it a little, and as you can see, it just starts getting easier and easier to squeeze and to get that juice out. And then with all of these, I'll come through and kind of go like that, give them a little push, because then it breaks them open, and I get more of that lime juice. And I may put this half of lime, because it'll still be tasty, and some water, and drink it in my water. I love lime juice in my water. Okay, got to do the same thing with the second half. It's hard to get started. Like I said, I turn it a little, squeeze, turn a little, squeeze, turn a little, squeeze, turn a little, squeeze, etc. and so forth. And after a while, it becomes easier and easier to squeeze because that juice is starting to come out. Use 2 hands if you have to. And if your adult knows a better way to do it, and you have a better way to do it, then do it. Anything that's easier or faster or better, oh, that is just fine. Okay, there we go. Of course, the easiest way is just to go buy salsa. But hey, it's fun to make things on your own too. It's always amazing. You can find out if you like this salsa better than you like the bottled salsa at the store. See what you think, right? Right. Now, I got to get that lime juice off of me so I don't spread it to everything. Here we go. All right, I'm gonna take my spatula and kind of stir down some of this stuff, especially the cilantro, because I need it where it's going to get hit by those blades. So I'm going to kind of get it down there a little bit. Now what we're going to do is we're going to pulse it together. Pulsing is when you don't just hold it down forever. You pulse it like what we did when we were chopping the vegetables in the first place. So maybe about Let me go with 10 seconds and see what I think. Okay, I'm thinking that was more than a pulse. Oh man, but it's looking good. Do I taste it now? I gotta see if the rest of it is, I think wow, chunky salsa. That is gonna be great. I'm gonna taste it. Whoa! Whoa! Spicy and so good. I don't know whether to do it some more because it's chunky salsa without being super large chunks. It's just chunky salsa. You saw, didn't you? See? Whoops, sorry. So you got pieces of the salsa, and then of course you got the juice. Okay, I'm gonna blend it just a little more, make sure the stuff on the bottom got done. But I probably won't do it for 10 seconds. All right, I am ready. I'm gonna take this out. If it needs more help, then I'm going to put it back in. I'm going to put it in a dish so that if I need to, I can put it back in here easily. Okay, I'm going to use the big bowl, because I think that's going to be easiest right now. To pour it in, I'm looking at it. I don't see a lot of really big chunks. Remember, I had that tomato and the jalapeno pepper that was still a little bit chunky. And look at it now. I mean, the chunk was too big. This is chunky salsa, but it's still salsa with a little bit of chunkiness, not whomping big chunky. And man, it tasted good. Now here's what I'm going to do with my salsa, besides taste it again. Okay, so what I'm going to do with my salsa, I think it's pretty good. I'm trying to think if I want anything else in there. Boy, that cilantro tastes good in there. The jalapeno tastes good. The red pepper. It's not too hot. I'm surprised. It's hot. It's spicy, but it's not overly spicy. At least not with the little bite that I just took this time. I'm going to set it aside. I'm going to put it in the refrigerator and let it sit for a while I get the nachos ready to go. Okay, so I'm going to clean up this mess and get ready for the next mess. All right, I have everything cleaned up from my salsa, and now I have a big mess on my counter again because now it's time to make the nachos. Here's how I'm going to do it. I'm going to get the nachos and the cheese ready, but I'm not going to put them in the oven until most of my other things that I might put on top are ready. First of all, you can use a pan to make your nachos, layer your cheese and your chips, or you can use foil. I do this for me and my husband so that we have two separate quantities. I mean, so that it's two servings. So if you want to make it the big way in the pan or this way, you can do that. So here's what I do. I have my chips, and sometimes I make my own chips, but this time I bought. Okay, I don't want it to be thick yet because I want to be able to put some cheese on that. And I want the cheese to go underneath all of these places, all of these chips, so that every chip has cheese. I don't know if that's possible, but let's find out. Now, I do have my already shredded cheese. This is the Mexican style that I got at the grocery store. I just happen to like it. I was just going to shred some of the cheddar cheese I have at home, and then I thought, wait a minute. Where's that Mexican cheese? All right, so you see, I put, depending upon how much you like cheese, I put kind kind of a thick quantity on that. Now I'm going to do some more chips. Get it set around here, the chips, so that they are showing and so that the chips can be seen. Every single one of them, because I want the cheddar cheese, or the shredded cheese, it's not just cheddar, is it? To reach each chip. That is going to be a lot of chips. Wow. Okay, watch out, guys. You think you're hungry and suddenly you realize that's going to be a lot when you're talking super nachos, because it's not just chips and cheese. We're going to be putting on other stuff. Now, what I do is I just bring it up into a little bowl. Like that. I don't have it totally closed at the top, but I'm still got it pretty close even at the top. I mean, there's still just a little bit of a hole. I'm going to put this over on the stove to get it out of my way. Now I've got my second one, and I'm going to do the same thing. Make as much rattling noise as I can while I do it, because that's always good, right? No? Well, it sounds good. All right, a couple more pieces of chips here and there. There we go. You never knew it was such an art lesson with the chips, did you? Okay, lots of cheese. Now another layer of chips. Whoops, I almost grabbed the cheese. I need the chips first. Oh boy. Okay, it's a good thing we had a small breakfast today. Okay. There we go. There we go. I'm getting sloppy. That's what cooking is about, I think. Maybe that's why I like cooking, because it lets me get messy. And I get to have something to show for it. Something delicious. Okay, again, I'm making that bowl. Bringing up those edges, leaving just a little hole. Now, I'm going to put this over on the oven with the other one. And actually, I'm going to get out a cookie sheet and put both of them on the cookie sheet. Because then, when it's time to pull these out, it'll be easy to bring both of them out at once. All right? So, this one's falling apart right here at the edges, and I don't want it to do that. So, I'm going to come back up and crinkle these two edges together so it doesn't fall apart so easily. Oh, I'm getting really excited. I love super nachos. In fact, there was a point in time that I kept wanting to go to one of our favorite Mexican restaurants in town, and just so that I could have their super nachos, and I thought I better start learning how to make them at home. That's why we're doing this, because it was time to make sure you knew how to do them at home as well. All right, cookie sheet. 1, 2. Now, I'm going to turn on my oven to only 350, and I'll tell you why. When I bake the chips with the cheese on it, and I'm trying to get the cheese melted, because I've got 2 layers, I need the heat to get all the way down into that second layer so that cheese will melt. If I turn it up to 400 or something like that, the top layer may not only get melted, but it may start to burn before the bottom layer of cheese has even really melted a lot. So that's all I do is I use 350 so that it gives it time to melt all the layers. Now I'm going to get the chips and the cheese out of my way. Now, before I put my nachos into the oven, I'm going to get most everything ready. If not everything ready, I need to do several other things so that the cheese is melted at the same time that my refried beans are ready, at the same time that I've got everything chopped, because I'm going to make this like a buffet. And I will chop some things, get some things ready, and then people can put on whatever they want. People meaning me and my husband, okay? So, first of all, I've got my refried beans, and I actually have a can of them this time around. Sometimes I make my own, and sometimes I open a can. Okay, there we go. Scoop it out into, whoops, wrong spot there, into my pan, because I want my beans to be warm, just like my nachos. Okay, there we go. I put the cans into my sink because I rinse them out and then I recycle them. So that's why you see me doing that. All right. Now I'm going to stir this up a little bit because it's got some of the juice on the edges but not in the center of those beans. I hope they taste good because they certainly don't look like they're spiced enough, but you know what? We just made blender salsa. We can spice it up with blender salsa. Do I want to right now? Yes, I do. I'm going to do just a little bit of the blender salsa just to give these beans a little bit of flavor before we get started with the actual nachos, super nachos. Okay, so I'm going to set these on the oven. I'm going to put it to a medium temperature. Oven, stovetop, not the oven. Okay, so I'm going to get these warmed up. Oh dear, these are in my way. There, now they're out of my way. Okay, so that's getting warm. Now, here's what else I need to do. Okay, so here's the deal. Today, I'll talk to you down here. Today, I am not going to use meat. But if you are going to use meat, you need to get that ready. Cook it up, ground beef, or if you have chicken and you want to use that, you can chop that all up. Or if you really want to go fancy and use shrimp, you can chop that all up. But it needs to be cooked. So my meat for today is actually going to be mushrooms. I'll show you. So I have my washed mushrooms. I'm putting it in some into the food processor. I'm probably putting too much in the food processor. And then I'm going to coarsely chop it, just like we did with the blender salsa. Is that good enough? Do I like it? Yes, yes, that is good. That will work. All right, so what I'm going to do now, this is my meat, right? So I'm going to just pour it into a bowl. Okay. Don't you like all that noise? Sounds like I'm really busy, huh? Well, I am, I guess. All right. So now I leave the spoon in that because, like I said, I'm going to make this like a buffet. So that's ready to go. Now, oh, I thought I was going to be done with this, but I'm not quite done yet, and it's okay that the mushroom is in here too. I'll show you what I'm going to do with that in a minute. Next on my list is I happen to have sour cream because I like it. So what I'm going to do is get that ready. I still have a couple of more, oh, see, ready, spoon in it, so people can come along and scoop that up, right? Well, I have an onion and I have avocados. With the onion, I know we put onion into the blender salsa, but I'm going to have it handy so that we have chunked onion, diced onion, to put over the top of our super nachos. These are super nachos. It means it has to have a lot of stuff in it. Don't you think? Oh yeah. We must make them super. Well, there's another part of the onion that is bad. But what do? Cut it off. Hello. I don't need to cry over bad onions. Although I might cry as I try to get the onions cut. That's the question, is will I start to tear up? Although I heard that's really good for your tear ducts. Oh no, another piece. No, you may not be there. There, okay. Now, okay, and if you've seen any of my other videos, you know that when I cut onion, this is how I do it. Turn it in half, then I make slits, then I cut through here. So basically I'm getting a diced onion, and I'm watching my fingers. There's no reason to get hurt in the kitchen, or at least try not to. Don't get so fast that you make silly mistakes. Okay. All right, another bowl. Onions. Okay, there we go. I'm doing that just to get all of those little pieces separated, so that as people, meaning me and my husband, come along to eat it or scoop it up, it'll be bite-sized here, or smaller than bite-sized, but it'll be easy to eat and easy to put all over our super nachos. Okay, there we go. Up. Spoon. Now, I just got onion juice all over my spoon. Don't do that. Okay, good. The other thing I want to do is olives. Again, I'm just using some canned olives that we got. Of course, there's canned olives or bottled olives. I gotta drain them out. There we go. Whoa, olives falling. Okay, now I'm gonna chop these as well. Hence the reason for keeping the cutting board handy. Okay, it sounds like my temperature on my oven is up to 350 degrees, which is good. I'm doing this to get rid of the rest of the liquid that's in there. All right, so there's that. Whoa, rolling or trying to run away. Now I'm going to go ahead and chop these up a little bit. Before I chop those onions, I need to stir the beans. I can hear them, which means they're going to be stuck to the bottom of the pan. So be sure to stir the beans often, or put it on a lower temp, or both. I'm going to stir them a couple times, then I'm putting them on a lower temperature. Now, here are the olives, okay? So I am just going to chop some of them so that if we want them on our super nachos, then we can put them on our super nachos. If you happen to have olives that are already chopped, well, that's going to be handy for you, right? Okay. There we are. Boy, this takes a long time. Usually I just do that so that it's in half. I'm going to do that again. Half, half. Circles take too long. Can you tell I'm not a very patient cook sometimes? There we go. Being careful with your fingers. Don't get your fingers. All right. Bowl. Olives. And spin. Okay, got it. Now, here's what I'm going to do is get this off of the counter. There we go. Okay. Here's what I'm going to do with the avocado. There's a couple of things I can do. I can make guacamole, which is fine. Basically, I don't do a lot when I'm making my own guacamole. I blend up the, that's what I'm going to do right here. I blend up the avocado. In the food processor. There we go. There we go. And if you want to do something with the avocado seed, let me show you. I've got 3 of these started. I just put toothpicks in 3 different areas of that avocado seed, and then I get enough water to soak the bottom of the avocado seed. I don't see any roots coming yet, but it takes a while. All right, so that is done. I'm going to do this other one and throw it in there as well. There we go. And there we go. Now I'm going to blend it up. But guess what I'm going to add to it? Salsa, just a little bit. Where did I put my, there it is. Okay. Scoop in a little bit of salsa with that. That'll work. Great. And now we squish it all together. And if you want, you can just use a fork to smash it, squish it up. I'm just doing it this way because I happen to have this here. I'm going to use my spatula. Oh, I washed it. Same one that I used when we were making the blender salsa. Shove it down a little. Do a little bit more. Now, my husband prefers just to use the fork, and the reason is he doesn't like it too creamy. Sorry, I'm having to watch to see what happens here. Okay. That looks good to me. Spatula to get the rest off. Very good. Then, haha, another bowl. And then this is going here. Oh, that looks good. Oh, I can't wait. And that goes here. And now I've got, as you can see, I've got my stuff ready to go. I always put lids underneath if they're not too dirty, that is, so that I know where the lids go. Oh, I remember what I forgot. I was also, if you don't want guacamole, I also like just plain old cuts of avocado on on my super nachos. Now I'm using a smaller knife because I really don't want to cut myself. In fact, I can use a table knife. This avo is very soft. And this is how I do strips. I have it still inside. These are small avocados, as you can see. Usually I have bigger ones. And then I just do the strips while it's just sitting pretty in its half shell here. Okay. Then what I do, I have to have another container. What's with that? Oh no, not another container. Yep, another container, not a problem. Just make sure you have enough containers for what you're going to put out for your buffet, as it were. Your super nachos buffet. All right, now what do I do with this? I use my finger and I go just underneath, right up against the skin of that avo. Right up underneath. It means that I'm going to have some avocado on my finger, but I can either lick it off, because I happen to like avocado, or I can wash it off if I don't like avocado. I can lick it off if I'm not having guests over, and my husband doesn't mind if I lick off my finger, or I can wash it. I'm sorry guys, I'm licking that. Love it. I love all this stuff. Okay, so there is that. That is ready. My fingers are not ready. My fingers are dirty. Good thing we have running water. I love running water. Love, love, love running water. I would not do good as a survivalist. Okay, make sure that you stir your beans again. Okay. Now I am so close to having everything ready. I'm going to go ahead and put these in the oven so that they can melt. I needed it at a certain time, and now I can do that. Is get everything else ready. I mean, since I have everything else ready, usually what I would do is put them in the oven when I think that I would have it almost ready, and then cut everything. But I couldn't do that because I was worried that I would take too long to cut everything and show you and that kind of thing. So now I am totally ready to put this in the oven. My oven is hot at 350. Here's what I do when I'm melting cheese on chips. I time it for a short amount of time. Let's go with 4 minutes. I'm going to go with 4 minutes, and then I'm going to check them. Now, while that is happening, remember when I mentioned the blender salsa and what I was going to do with those limes? That's right, lime water. So I happen to have a great big jar. I'm going to fill it with some water. You're getting the flavored water recipe here. I'm going to throw my limes in it. There we go. All right, now I'm going to put something else in there, something that would go good with lime. So I'm going to do a half of a lemon. Whoops. I'm going to cut that lemon. Now this time I'm not using the lemon in anything else, so most of the liquid is actually going to go in here, in this. But now I realize that if I'm going to use a full lemon, I need a really big jar. So if you happen to have a really big jar, then you can use that. Or if you happen to have a pitcher, that would work as well. So I'm just going to kind of give a little squeeze to it, just a little bit. There we go. A little bit with that one. Now, even though I had this ready, it's going in. sometimes you have to be flexible. Now I'm going to add more water. And then after that, are you all intrigued? What is she going to do after that? She said after that, but she didn't tell us. It's okay. It's all right. Settle down. After that, I'm going to add ice. That's right. So, ice it is. We have ice, ice trays, right? And sometimes we take them out and throw them into one of these buckets here that used to have ice cream. We saved these when we used to eat sugar. So I'm going to throw ice in it. I happen to have a lid for this. And like I said, you can do it just with a pitcher. It just doesn't matter. Oh, this is going to be good. So I'm going to give it a little shake, or a big shake. Then I'm going to put this in the fridge and let it sit. It won't be with my super nachos, but I'll have it later on tonight or later on today, or I don't know, tomorrow even. It'll be really cold and really good. So if it's getting hot to you, then make some flavored water. All right, so that's the lemon and the lime. I've got about 13 more seconds. Down to 9, 8, 7. I'm going to check it to see if I think all of the cheese. I'm going to move a little bit of the top layer chip to see if the cheese down below is actually melted. Okay, the one on top is semi-melted. I still want it more melted. Right now you can still see the outlines of every single piece of shredded cheese. It is melting, but it's not quite there yet. Okay, good, good, good. I just don't want to burn the tops. I hate it when I do that. Not pay attention and then end up burning the cheese all around. Now I still eat it, but I'm going to give it another 4 minutes. Okay, I'm going to stir my beans. Make sure they're okay. Going to bring them over to here to my little buffet table. That's going to be good. Okay, am I ready? Do I have everything I need? Oh, you know what time it is, guys? Clean up as much as you can. All right, so I've got less than 4 minutes to clean up and be right back at you. Aw, my timer went off and I didn't quite finish cleaning up, but I got a lot done. It's time to check the cheese though. I do not want it to burn. Oh, it's melting nicely. Got to look at the bottom. Oh, I see one on the bottom that's not really melted. So we are going back in. But now it's time to go for less time. So I'm going to do only 3 minutes. 3? Yeah, I think it'll be fine at 3 minutes. So I'm going to go for 3 minutes and come right back to you. Timer went off. I think this one's going to work. Should use a pot holder instead of a towel. All right. I was just cleaning up, so I was drying my hands off. Oh yeah, we got ooey gooey, lovely melted cheese in here. So, I'm going to take it out. I'm going to set one on a plate and show you what I do for my super nachos. I don't know if one of them had the smaller amount of chips. This is the one I'm taking. Now, I can get kind of messy with what I put in it. here we go. I love beans on top. So I'm just gonna come over here so you can see. I don't necessarily glob it. I try to kind of spread it out as I go, because that's what I'm gonna do with my chips anyway. Can I eat them all spread out? Okay. And I am gonna throw these mushrooms on there. And if you don't have mushrooms but you have meat, you can do that. That is perfectly wonderful. I happen to love onions like this with my super nachos. There we go. I am going to use the olives on top. Now, those olives will probably fall off of my chip, and I'll probably end up using a fork to catch anything that ended up on the bottom. I am going to use guacamole on top. I'm going to spread it out a little bit because, just to make it cute, I'm going to put avocado slices on it. There's my sour cream, right? And then, just to be decorative, I'm going to put avocado slices on top of the sour cream. Oh, salsa! What am I thinking? It's way over here. I almost forgot it. All right. Our blender salsa. I should have put it on before, but that's all right. Just going to go around my stuff here because I love my avocado top. There. Do I want more? Ooh, every time I say that to you guys, it's like, yes, yes I do. Look at that mess. It's delightful. Okay, I shouldn't be so yelling. But now, it's the taste test. I know I'm going to love it, so it just doesn't matter. Look at that stringy cheese. Okay. So good. You guys go enjoy yours. Bye.
Here are some quick facts about jalapenos. Jalapenos are bright red when fully ripe. The red ones tend to be hotter. When a jalapeno is too hot, milk is your best choice to help cool down your mouth. The Aztec civilization smoked dried chili peppers instead of using them as food. August 19th is National Hot and Spicy Food Day.
This was my super nachos, but I'm all done. And using foil for making it makes cleanup really easy.